You know that moment when you catch someone staring at you, and they quickly look away like they were studying the ceiling? Well, what if I told you that's actually one of the most obvious signs that someone is completely head over heels for you, but you've been missing it this whole time? Girl, if you've ever wondered whether that person in your life sees you as just a friend or something way more, stick around. Because today I'm going to reveal 10 hilariously obvious signs that someone has a massive crush on you, signs so clear that once you know them, you'll be wondering how you ever missed them in the first place. Let me tell you about my friend Sarah. She came to me last month, completely frustrated, saying, "I just don't understand men. This guy at work brings me coffee every single morning, remembers every tiny detail I tell him, and somehow always ends up wherever I am during lunch break. But when I try to flirt back, he acts all casual like we're just buddies." I looked at her and said, "Sarah, honey, that man is not just being friendly. He's practically writing, 'I have a crush on you' in skywriting, and you're looking at the clouds wondering what that random squiggly line means." 3 days later, she texted me, "OMG, you were right. He asked me out, and apparently he's been working up the courage for 3 months." This is exactly why I needed to make this video. Because so many of us are walking around completely oblivious to the fact that someone is absolutely smitten with us. We're overthinking, second-guessing, and missing the most obvious signs that are right in front of our faces. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into these telltale signs that someone is crushing on you hard. Sign number 1. They become a human Google about your life. You know what's absolutely wild? When someone has a crush on you, they suddenly develop the memory of an elephant, but only for things related to you. Here's what I mean. You casually mention that you love sunflowers during a random conversation 3 weeks ago, and suddenly they're sending you sunflower memes, or they spot a sunflower field and think of you. You tell them you had a big presentation on Thursday, and guess what? Thursday morning, your phone buzzes with a "good luck today" text. But here's the funny part: this same person, who can remember that you prefer oat milk in your coffee and that your sister's name is Jessica, probably can't remember where they put their car keys 5 minutes ago. I had a friend who told me about a guy who remembered she mentioned loving a specific type of chocolate from a bakery across town. 2 weeks later, he showed up with that exact chocolate, claiming he happened to be in the area. Girl, nobody just happens to be in an area 45 minutes away from where they live. When someone is crushing on you, your words become precious to them. They store every little detail because everything about you feels important. They're not just listening to respond, they're listening to learn you, to understand you, to find ways to make you smile. If you notice someone bringing up things you said weeks ago, or they seem to know your schedule better than you do, that's not just good friendship, that's a crush hiding in plain sight. Sign number 2. They turn into a professional comedian around you. Have you ever noticed someone who's normally pretty quiet suddenly turning into Kevin Hart the moment you walk into the room? That's crush behavior 101. When someone likes you, they have this overwhelming desire to make you laugh. And I mean, they will try everything. Bad puns, funny faces, embarrassing stories about themselves, anything to see you smile. It's like they've convinced themselves that if they can make you laugh, they've won half the battle. I remember this guy in college who was usually pretty serious in our study group. But whenever I joined the group, he'd start cracking jokes left and right. One day, he made this absolutely terrible joke about calculus, and I mean terrible, but he looked so proud when I laughed that I realized he'd probably been preparing jokes just for when I showed up. Here's the thing, when someone has a crush on you, your laughter becomes like a drug to them. They'll remember exactly which jokes made you giggle and which ones fell flat. They'll replay your laugh in their head later and feel proud that they were the cause of it. But here's what's really sweet about this sign. They're willing to look silly, to be vulnerable, to risk their jokes bombing, all just to brighten your day. That's not something people do for just anyone. That's crush territory right there. If someone is consistently trying to entertain you, even when they're not naturally the funny type, pay attention. They're showing you how much they value your happiness. Sign number 3. They develop selective hearing loss. This one is absolutely hilarious and so telling. When someone has a massive crush on you, they suddenly develop this weird condition where they can hear your voice from across a crowded room, but somehow misdirect questions from people standing right next to them. Picture this. You're at a party and you're having a conversation with someone across the room. Meanwhile, crush person is supposedly deep in conversation with their friend, but somehow they heard you mention that you're thinking about getting a dog. Suddenly, they're an expert on dog breeds and coincidentally end up in your conversation. Or you're in a group setting, and multiple people are talking, but the moment you start speaking, their attention laser focuses on you like you're the only person in the room. Everyone else becomes background noise. I witnessed this firsthand with my coworker Jake. During team meetings, he'd be scrolling through his phone, looking totally disengaged. But the second our manager would ask for my opinion on something, Jake's head would snap up like he'd been electrocuted. He'd suddenly become very interested in the conversation, nodding along to everything I said. It's like they have this internal radar that's constantly tuned to your frequency. Your voice, your laugh, even the sound of your footsteps, they're subconsciously always listening for you. The funny part is, they probably don't even realize they're doing it. But everyone else around them definitely notices. Friends will tease them about it. Why do you always know what Sarah said but you missed the entire conversation we just had? If you notice someone seems to have superhuman hearing when it comes to you but suddenly goes deaf when others are talking, that's their crush showing. Sign number 4. They become your personal paparazzi. Okay, this one might sound a little creepy at first, but hear me out. It's actually really sweet when you understand what's happening. When someone has a crush on you, they suddenly become fascinated by capturing moments with you. Not in a stalker way, but in a I want to remember this way. They're always the first to suggest group photos when you're around. They'll take candid shots of the group, but somehow you're always perfectly centered in the frame. Or they'll send you photos they took where you look amazing, and they somehow look like they blinked at the wrong moment. I had a friend who would always volunteer to be the photographer whenever our group went out, but I started noticing that in every single photo he took, I was positioned in the best lighting. When I'd ask for copies, he'd send me like 20 different shots from slightly different angles. Meanwhile, everyone else got maybe 1 or 2. Here's what's really happening. When someone has a crush on you, they see you differently than everyone else does. To them, you're genuinely more beautiful, more interesting, more photo-worthy. They want to capture you because they want to be able to look at you even when you're not around. And social media? Girl, they become your biggest fan. They're liking your posts within minutes of you posting them. They're watching your stories so fast you wonder if they have notifications turned on just for you. They're commenting with the perfect emoji or that inside joke that makes you smile. But here's the really telling part, they're not doing this with everyone. Check their social media activity with other friends versus with you. The difference will be obvious. If someone seems to always have their camera ready when you're around, or they're consistently your most engaged social media follower, they're showing you that they want to hold on to every moment with you. Sign number 5. They transform into your personal weather app. This one is so specific but so common that once you know about it, you'll spot it everywhere. When someone has a crush on you, they become weirdly invested in your comfort and well-being in the most practical ways. They're the person who checks the weather and texts you, "It's going to rain today, don't forget your umbrella." Or, "It's supposed to be really cold tonight, make sure you bring a jacket." They somehow always have an extra phone charger when your battery dies, or they notice you're getting thirsty before you even realize it yourself. I remember this guy who had a crush on me in high school. Every single morning, he'd check the weather forecast, and if it was going to be cold, he'd bring an extra sweater to school. Not for himself, for me, in case I forgot mine. He did this for months, and I just thought he was being nice to everyone. Nope, just me. Here's what's really happening. When someone likes you, your comfort becomes their priority. They start noticing little things about you, like how you always get cold in air conditioning, or how you forget to eat when you're stressed, or how you get grumpy when you're tired. And then they make it their mission to solve these problems for you. They'll remember that you mentioned being tired, so they'll bring you coffee. They'll notice you rubbing your neck, so they'll suggest you take a break. They'll see you struggling with something and immediately jump in to help, even if it's inconvenient for them. The beautiful thing about this sign is that it shows they're paying attention to you on a level that goes beyond just finding you attractive. They're noticing your needs, your patterns, your comfort levels. They want to take care of you. If someone seems to anticipate your needs before you even voice them, or they're always prepared to make your life a little easier, that's not just friendship, that's someone who cares about you deeply. Sign number 6. They become a master of coincidental encounters. Girl, this one is both hilarious and impressive. When someone has a crush on you, they suddenly develop this amazing ability to show up wherever you are, and it's always just a coincidence. You mention you're going grocery shopping, and surprise, they also need groceries at the exact same store at the exact same time. You say you're thinking about checking out that new coffee shop, and what do you know? They've been meaning to try it too. You're at the gym, and they suddenly develop a passion for fitness and end up working out at the same time you do. I had a friend who told me about a guy who kept running into her everywhere. The library, the bookstore, even the specific aisle at Target where she was buying shampoo. She thought it was the weirdest string of coincidences until she realized he'd been paying attention to everything she mentioned about her plans and errands. Here's the thing, this isn't stalking, unless it feels uncomfortable or invasive, which is different. This is someone who wants to spend time with you so badly that they're creating opportunities to be around you. They're hoping that these accidental meetings will turn into conversations, which might turn into hanging out, which might turn into something more. The funny part is how they act when they bump into you. They're always a little too excited, a little too surprised, and they always have just enough time to chat or grab coffee or help you with whatever you're doing. Sometimes they'll even admit it later. Like, okay, I might have been hoping I'd run into you here, with this sheepish grin that makes it clear they've been planning these encounters. If someone keeps showing up in your orbit and it feels like more than coincidence, it probably is. They're finding excuses to be near you because being near you makes them happy. Sign number 7. They turn into your personal life coach. This sign is super sweet and shows how much they believe in you. When someone has a crush on you, they become your biggest cheerleader and supporter, sometimes even more than your closest friends. They remember that job interview you mentioned and text you good luck messages. They ask about that project you're working on and genuinely want to hear about your progress. When you're stressed about something, they don't just say, "That sucks." They help you brainstorm solutions or offer to help in practical ways. But here's where it gets really telling. They see potential in you that you might not even see in yourself. They're always encouraging you to go for that promotion, try that hobby you mentioned, or pursue that dream you talked about. They become invested in your success and happiness in a way that goes beyond normal friendship. I remember a guy who had a crush on me who would send me articles related to my career goals, recommend books he thought I'd enjoy, or share opportunities he came across that might interest me. He was like my personal growth partner, always pushing me to be my best self. What's happening here is that when someone likes you, your happiness becomes their happiness. Your success makes them proud, your struggles make them want to help. They start seeing your potential because they're looking at you through the lens of someone who cares deeply about your future. They'll remember your goals when you forget them yourself. They'll remind you of your strengths when you're feeling down. They'll celebrate your wins like they're their own victories. If someone is consistently investing in your growth and success, paying attention to your dreams and goals, and always encouraging you to reach higher, that's not just friendship, that's someone who wants to be part of your journey for the long haul. Sign number 8. They develop amnesia about other people. This one is absolutely hilarious and so obvious once you know what to look for. When someone has a massive crush on you, other people start to fade into the background of their world. Not in a rude way, but in a "you're the only person who really matters" way. You'll be in a group conversation, and they'll respond to what you say but somehow miss or forget what everyone else contribute. You'll mention something about another person, and they'll ask, "Who?" About someone they've met multiple times. They'll remember every detail about your weekend plans but have no idea what their other friends are up to. I witnessed this with my friend Mike, who had a huge crush on our mutual friend Lisa. During group dinners, he'd be completely engaged when Lisa was talking, asking follow-up questions and hanging on every word. But when other people were sharing stories, he'd kind of nod along while clearly thinking about something else, usually something Lisa had said earlier. The really funny part is when they're telling stories and somehow every story relates back to you or something you said or did. Oh, that reminds me of when Sarah mentioned, or Sarah would love this. They can't help but connect everything back to you because you're occupying so much space in their mind. Their friends definitely notice this. They'll tease them about it. "Dude, we get it, you think everything relates to Sarah somehow." But they can't help it. When you have a crush on someone, they become the main character in your mental movie, and everyone else becomes supporting cast. If you notice someone seems to have selective memory that heavily favors you, or if they can't seem to tell a story without mentioning you somehow, that's their crush showing loud and clear. Sign number 9. They become fluent in your love language. This sign is incredibly sweet and shows emotional intelligence. When someone has a crush on you, they subconsciously start speaking your love language, even if they don't know what love languages are. If you're someone who appreciates acts of service, they'll start doing little things for you, bringing you lunch, helping with tasks, fixing things for you. If you respond well to words of affirmation, they'll compliment you more often and tell you how much they appreciate you. If you're a physical touch person, they'll find excuses for light touches, high fives, brief hugs, playful nudges. I had a friend who was really into quality time, and this guy who liked her somehow picked up on that. He'd suggest activities where they could hang out one-on-one, remember conversations they'd had weeks before, and always make time for her even when he was busy. He wasn't naturally a quality time person, but he adapted because that's what made her feel valued. Here's what's really happening. When someone has a crush on you, they become incredibly attuned to what makes you light up. They start noticing what you respond positively to and naturally begin doing more of those things. They want to make you feel good, so they unconsciously learn how to speak your emotional language. They might start bringing you little gifts if you're a gifts person, or they'll make an effort to give you undivided attention if that's what you value. They're not doing this manipulatively. They're doing it because making you happy makes them happy. The beautiful thing about this sign is that it shows they're not just attracted to you physically, they're paying attention to your emotional needs and trying to meet them. That's the foundation of a really good relationship. If someone seems to intuitively know how to make you feel appreciated and valued, they've been studying you because they care about you deeply. Sign number 10. They create a protective bubble around you. This final sign is subtle but incredibly telling. When someone has a crush on you, they become naturally protective of you in small but meaningful ways. They'll walk between you and traffic when you're on the sidewalk. They'll make sure you get home safely after a night out. They'll defend you when someone makes a rude comment, even in situations where it might be awkward for them. They'll remember to ask if you made it home okay after you've been out late. But it's not just physical protection, it's emotional protection too. They'll change the subject if someone brings up something they know is sensitive for you. They'll make excuses for you if you're having an off day. They'll be the first to shut down anyone who's being negative about you. I remember a guy who liked me who would always position himself so he could see the whole room when we were out together. At first, I thought he was distracted or bored, but I realized he was keeping an eye on everything around us. He'd notice if someone was making me uncomfortable before I even fully realized it myself. Here's the thing, this protective instinct isn't something you can fake or force. It comes from a genuine care for your well-being. When someone has strong feelings for you, your safety and comfort become important to them on an almost instinctual level. They're not doing this to control you or because they think you can't take care of yourself. They're doing it because the thought of anything bad happening to you genuinely bothers them. Your well-being matters to them. If you notice someone consistently looking out for you in little ways, creating safe spaces for you, or just generally having your back, that's someone who cares about you on a very deep level. So there you have it, beautiful 10 hilariously obvious signs that someone has a massive crush on you. And here's what I want you to remember. These signs aren't just random behaviors. Each one represents something deeper: attention, care, investment in your happiness, and genuine affection. The beautiful thing about recognizing these signs is that it gives you power. Power to decide how you want to respond, power to appreciate the people who care about you, and power to stop second-guessing yourself when someone is clearly showing you they're interested. Maybe you'll realize that person you thought was just being friendly has actually been crushing on you this whole time. Maybe you'll start noticing these signs in someone new. Or maybe you'll recognize that you do some of these things yourself when you like someone, and that's totally normal and sweet. Here's my pro tip for you. If you recognize these signs in someone and you're interested too, make it a little easier for them. Smile when they make those terrible jokes. Thank them when they remember small details about your life. Let them know you appreciate their thoughtfulness. Sometimes all a person needs is a little encouragement to take that leap from crush to actually asking you out. And if you're not interested, that's completely okay too. You can still appreciate that someone sees you as wonderful enough to have these feelings for, while being kind but clear about your boundaries. Remember, you are absolutely worthy of having someone think about you this way. You deserve to have someone who notices the little things about you, who wants to make you laugh, who cares about your comfort and happiness. Don't settle for less than someone who makes these signs feel natural and genuine. If this video helped you figure out whether someone might be crushing on you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And if you want more insights into relationships, dating, and understanding the people in your life, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I've got so much more to share with you. Until next time, keep being your amazing self, and remember, someone out there thinks you're absolutely incredible, even if they're too nervous to say it yet.